You're flipping through some old coins you found in your grandma's jar, and suddenly, you stumble upon a penny that looks a little different. No mint mark. You squint at it. What is that? Could this be a mistake? A rare coin, perhaps? Maybe you've just discovered a gold mine. Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the world of the 2004 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around. You see, this little penny could be worth a whopping $1.6 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.6 million for a penny. So, if you've got one lying around, stop what you're doing, because that penny might just be your ticket to some serious coin fortune. Alright, let's jump into it, and no, I'm not pulling your leg. This story gets even crazier the more you learn about it. So, grab a seat, because we're about to uncover some fascinating facts. Now, before we get into the specifics of the 2004 no mint mark penny, let's take a quick moment to talk about why a coin with no mint mark is even worth anything at all. Usually, coins come with a little D for Denver, or a S for San Francisco, or even a P if it was minted in Philadelphia. But in 2004, a number of pennies were struck without any mint mark, and that little error caused quite a stir. First things first, why would a penny with no mint mark be such a big deal? Well, that's where the fun begins. You see, a mint mark is an essential part of a coin's identity. It tells us where it was made. So, when the 2004 pennies came off the presses and didn't have a mint mark, it was a big OL red flag. Think about it. If you're a collector, a mint error like that is like finding a typo in a rare book. It immediately grabs your attention. Now, let me tell you a little story of my own that'll help you understand how these things go down. I was at a flea market a couple of years ago, just browsing, when I found a bucket of old coins sitting on a dusty table. The kind of table where you expect to find, well, exactly what it sounds like. Old, rusted junk that no one wants. But I noticed a few pennies among the pile, and I thought, hey, let's see if I can spot anything interesting. You'll laugh, but I spent probably an hour looking at these pennies, squinting at each one like I was trying to decipher some ancient code. Nothing special, until I found one that looked slightly different from the others. No mint mark. At that moment, I felt like I just cracked some hidden treasure chest, ready to turn this one coin into my golden ticket. It wasn't the right coin, but it got me hooked on looking for these little anomalies. You'll never guess how many times I've heard similar stories from other coin collectors. It's crazy how often people overlook these things. Now, back to the 2004 no mint mark penny. Why is it so valuable? Well, in most cases, pennies are just pennies, right? But this particular error caused an uproar because of how rare it is. In fact, there are only a few known examples of the 2004 no mint mark penny in circulation today, and when they do pop up, they go for big bucks. In 2019, one of these rare pennies was sold at auction for an eye-popping $1.6 million. That's a lot for a coin that's smaller than a paperclip. Not every 2004 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. It all comes down to condition. If you happen to find one of these coins in mint condition, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. But if it's got a few scratches, dings, or general wear and tear, well, it might not fetch you the same amount. Still, even a slightly worn version of this penny can be worth a lot more than your typical penny. So how do you know if you've got a rare one? Simple. Look for the key signs. It should be a 2004 Lincoln penny, and the absence of a mint mark should be noticeable. There's also the matter of the coin's rarity. Again, not every 2004 penny is going to be worth millions. But if you've got one that was part of that strange, minting anomaly, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Alright, so let's recap everything we've learned. The 2004 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth up to $1.6 million. Yes, you read that right. But don't go rushing off to your piggy bank just yet. Not every penny from that year is going to fetch that kind of cash. It depends on the coin's condition and whether it's one of the rare, valuable ones. And let's be real, finding a penny worth that much is a needle in a haystack situation. But hey, if you find one, you might just be the next person to turn a penny into a fortune. Now, here's the part where I encourage you to keep your eyes peeled for those hidden treasures. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and you never know what you might find next. So, make sure you're checking your change and flipping through those old coins you've got lying around. If you enjoyed today's deep dive into coin collecting, Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more coin tips, tricks, and hidden gems. Who knows? Your next penny might just be the one that makes you a millionaire. You ever dig through your change and hope for a little lucky find? You know, like a penny that's worth more than just 1 cent? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into a penny story that'll make your jaw hit the floor. Yes, I'm talking about the 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and no, it's not a typo. This little copper wonder could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Stick with me, because in the next 40 minutes, we'll uncover why this penny is practically a gold mine in disguise, and how you can spot one if you're lucky enough. Alright, let's rewind to the year 2000. Y2K was making people stockpile bottled water, and the world was worried that the digital apocalypse would happen as soon as the clock struck midnight. But while everyone was stressing about computers crashing, there was something else quietly happening in the world of coinage. A tiny error on the 2000 Lincoln penny that no one noticed at first. So, let's talk about this elusive coin, the 2000 no-mint mark penny. When you think of pennies, you probably picture Abraham Lincoln's face and maybe even the little P or D under the year, which stands for the mint where the coin was made, Philadelphia or Denver, right? Well, in 2000, something weird happened. Some pennies were produced without any mint mark at all. They were, for lack of a better term, naked. Now, don't panic if you're sitting on a pile of 2,000 pennies right now, thinking you've struck it rich. Out of the millions that were minted, only a handful were actually missing the mint mark. But here's the kicker. Those particular pennies have become incredibly rare, and if you find one in decent condition, it could be worth more than just a few bucks. We're talking potentially up to $1.70 million. You might be thinking, why is this penny worth so much? It's just a penny. Well, here's the thing. It's all about the rarity and the history. Mint marks are supposed to be there to show where the coin was made. When a coin is struck without the mint mark, it's considered a mint error, and collectors go wild over these kinds of mistakes. Think of it like finding a rare baseball card with an error. It's that rarity factor that makes people willing to pay big money. But let's get real for a second. Finding one of these pennies isn't exactly easy. In fact, it's pretty much like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except you're looking for a needle that could pay off your student loans. So, before you go digging through your change jar, let me share a little story. A few years ago, I was at a coin show, one of those events where people gather to trade rare coins like they're at an antique bazaar. I was looking through a pile of pennies and chatting with the dealer when suddenly, a guy walks up with this wild look on his face. He had just found a 2000 no-mint mark penny in his grandma's coin jar, and he was holding it like he had just found a buried treasure chest. I was curious, so I asked him how much he thought it was worth. He was pretty nonchalant and said, "I'm not sure, but I've heard these go for some crazy money." Of course, I immediately Googled it and bam. I found out this thing could be worth up to $1.7 million depending on the condition. Now, here's the twist. The penny he was holding wasn't in mint condition. It had a little wear and tear, and it didn't look exactly pristine. But still, the fact that it was one of those rare, unmarked gems had me shaking my head. And guess what? That guy sold it for a decent chunk of change. Not millions, but still, it paid for a nice vacation. Alright, so how do you spot this rare penny if you're hoping to get lucky? First, check for the year 2000. Look carefully to see if there's a mint mark. There shouldn't be one. No P or D means you've got something special. The better the condition, the higher the value. Look for signs of wear. The cleaner and more unscathed it is, the better. Get a magnifying glass or a loupe and inspect the penny. If you find the right one, you might just have a collector's dream in your hands. Now, let's be real for a second. Just because you have a 2000 penny with no mint mark doesn't automatically mean it's worth millions. The value depends on the coin's condition and how many are actually left in circulation. But hey, the fact that something as simple as a penny could be worth so much is pretty wild, right? So, there you have it, folks. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just pocket change. It's a piece of history that could make you rich if you get lucky enough to find one in great condition. Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned pro, coins like these are what make the hobby so exciting. You never know what you might find when you dig through your old pennies or browse through your local coin shop. If you've learned something new today, and you're hungry for more tips on rare coins, treasure hunting strategies, and ways to spot those hidden gems that could make you a millionaire, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big find. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you're looking through your change jar, you might just be holding on to your very own $1,000,000 penny. Have you ever stared at a penny and thought, hey, I wonder if this little copper disc could be worth millions? No? Well, buckle up because today, I'm about to introduce you to a penny that's worth, wait for it, $1.80 million. And no, this isn't some clickbait nonsense. It's real. In fact, if you've got a 2015 penny with an O mint mark, you might be sitting on a gold mine. Or, should I say, a copper mine? Now, before you run to your piggy bank and start flipping through those pennies, let's talk about this rare gem and how you could turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking every penny you find like it's a hidden treasure. Alright, so first things first, let's get to the juicy stuff. We're talking about the 2015 penny with an O mint mark. You might be thinking, what's the big deal? It's just a penny, right? But trust me, this penny is more than just copper. It's practically a gold bar in disguise. You see, in 2015, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at both their Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's the kicker. A small batch of pennies from the Philly Mint that year accidentally got struck without a mint mark. For most of us, this would just seem like an oopsie from the minting process. But for a few lucky collectors, that little mistake turned into one of the most coveted errors in recent coin history. If you stumble upon one of these elusive 2015 no mint mark pennies, it could be worth upwards of $1.8 million. Yeah, I know. Sounds insane, right? But that's the current market value of a 2015 no mint mark penny in perfect condition. We're talking about something you might have found in your couch cushions, your car cup holder, or maybe even in your granddad's old coin jar. But don't just go throwing all your pennies in a safe deposit box just yet. Not every penny from 2015 is a gold mine. It's got to meet certain criteria to hit that hefty price tag. For example, the penny needs to be in mint condition. No scratches, no discoloration, and no signs of wear and tear. Think of it like a diamond in the rough, but a lot smaller. You're in your living room, watching TV, casually flipping through the change jar. You pick up a random penny, and bam! You've just stumbled upon the coin equivalent of finding a $100 bill in your back pocket. Now, don't get too excited just yet. It's all about knowing what you're looking for and not getting distracted by your other shiny coins. Now, if you're thinking, but I don't know what a mint mark even looks like, don't sweat it. I've got you covered. The mint mark, that little letter on the front of the penny, indicates where it was made. The Philadelphia Mint usually doesn't put a mint mark on their pennies, but if it's a penny from Denver, you'll see a small D above the year. But in 2015, a few slipped through the cracks with no mint mark at all. Now, don't go hunting for pennies in every jar you own. These coins are super rare, and only a small number made it out without that mint mark. They're harder to find than that last cookie in the jar, and even harder to authenticate. So, if you think you've got one, you should probably get it professionally graded to verify its value. Trust me, it's worth the investment. While the $1.8 million valuation is pretty mind-blowing, it's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of finding something truly rare. It's like being Indiana Jones, but instead of ancient relics, you're uncovering valuable coins in your pocket. Now, let me take a second to share a personal story. A few years back, I found a random penny while cleaning out my garage. It was a 1995 penny, totally beat up and dull, but something about it caught my eye. I looked it over, did a quick Google search, I know, classic move, and turns out, it wasn't worth a whole lot. But you know what? That moment reminded me that coins hold more stories than just their value. Maybe that's a lesson for life too. Huh? But seriously, the world of coin collecting is like a treasure hunt, and every penny could be hiding something valuable. That 2015 no mint mark penny is one of the best kept secrets in the coin world. And if you're lucky enough to have one, well, you could be making some serious money. Keep an eye out for those rare pennies, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find that $1.8 million coin hiding in your change jar. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who thought their pennies were only worth a few cents, this little nugget of information can change your perspective. And hey, I don't know about you, but I've got a new hobby now. I'm going to be digging through my couch cushions every week, and I suggest you do the same. Who knows, you might be sitting on a gold mine, well, a copper mine, but you get the point. If you learned something new today, and you're ready to keep the treasure hunt going, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss more tips on how to spot coins worth money, strategies for your collection, and all things coin-related. And hey, if you find that $1.8 million penny, send me a picture. I want to see it. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket worth more than your car, your house, or maybe even your entire retirement plan. Sounds like something out of a dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today, we're talking about a 1966 Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't a typo, and no, I haven't been sniffing glue. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just start checking your spare change in a whole new light. Now, we know there's a lot of people out there who love finding odd pennies. Some of us will go as far as diving into the couch cushions. Trust me, I've done it, to see if there's anything rare or valuable hiding out. But here's the kicker. In 1966, the U.S. Mint accidentally produced a batch of pennies with no mint mark on them. And no mint mark means potential treasure. Normally, you'd see a small D or S on the penny. Those are the marks from the Denver and San Francisco mints. But in 1966, some pennies rolled off the presses without any mint mark at all. These little guys are as rare as finding a unicorn in your backyard. So, how did these little bronze beauties go from being pocket change to one of the hottest commodities on the market? Well, back in the day, no one thought anything of it. They were just regular old pennies. It wasn't until collectors and coin experts started noticing the mint mark anomaly that the penny's true worth became clear. Turns out, this mistake made it rarer than rare, like a celebrity's autograph on a napkin. In fact, in 2018, a 1966 no mint mark penny was sold for nearly $1.9 million. A penny, guys. If that doesn't make you want to sort through your change jar, I don't know what will. It's kind of like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, except, way cheaper and with a much higher chance of finding it. Now, I know you're probably itching to run to your coin collection, but before you start searching every penny like it's a hidden treasure map, let me give you the lowdown on how to actually tell if your penny is the real deal. If you have a 1966 penny and there's no D or S mint mark on the back, you're on the right track. It should look pretty much like your average 1966 penny. Nothing too fancy about the design. Just Abraham Lincoln, looking as stoic as ever. The better the condition of the coin, the higher the value. So, if your penny has been sitting in a jar of old change since 1966, it may be a bit worse for wear, but it's still worth something. But before you think you've struck gold, let me throw in a little reality check. While the $1.9 million sale made headlines, not every 1966 no mint mark penny is going to be worth that. The price depends a lot on condition, rarity, and how desperate the collectors are. But hey, even a penny worth $10 is $10 more than you had before, right? Alright, let me share a funny story with you. A few years ago, I was on a coin hunt. Yes, I'm that kind of nerd, looking for rare pennies and half dollars. I found a penny that looked pretty old, and I thought, this is it. I'm about to become a millionaire. I checked it, and sure enough, it had no mint mark. My heart raced as I Googled it, only to find out it was a 1964 penny. Not quite the 1966 no mint mark wonder I was hoping for, but hey, at least it wasn't a 1982 zinc penny. Am I right? The lesson here? Don't get too excited, but keep your eyes peeled. Sometimes, the thrill of the hunt is worth more than the actual prize. But hey, if you find a 1966 no mint mark penny, don't forget to call me so I can say, I told you so. So, what did we learn today? If you happen to have a 1966 penny with no mint mark, you may be holding on to one of the rarest, most valuable coins in the world. While not every one of these pennies will make you a millionaire, some could definitely give you a nice little surprise. So, check your coins, clean out your drawers, and who knows? You might just find a hidden gem that's worth more than you could ever imagine. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll keep bringing you more tips on coins that could be worth a fortune. We'll dive into coin values, the best ways to spot rare finds, and maybe, just maybe, uncover another $1.9 million penny together. See you next time, and happy coin hunting. If you've learned anything today, it's this. Don't underestimate a penny. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a video on rare finds and insider tips. And drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or just want to share a funny story about your own coin collection. You never know. Your next penny might just change your life. Imagine walking around, minding your business, and then you suddenly find a coin that's worth millions. Sounds too good to be true, right? But that's exactly what happened with the 1998 penny. Yes, you heard me right, a penny. The kind that's often found crammed into the corner of your couch cushions or stuck at the bottom of your car cup holder. But what if that penny could make you a fortune? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just look at your change in a whole new light. So, let's dive into it. Today, we're talking about a very special 1998 penny, one without a mint mark. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. But trust me, this isn't just any regular penny. The 1998 no mint mark penny has become a bit of a legend in the world of coin collecting. If you've been collecting for a while, you might have already heard the buzz. But for those who are new to the coin scene or just stumbled across this video out of curiosity, let me break it down for you. First, a little coin history. Every penny ever made in the United States since 1909 has had a mint mark, indicating where it was produced, whether it was at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint. However, in 1998, something weird happened. A small batch of pennies was made at the Philadelphia Mint without the usual P mint mark. Now, you might think, what's the big deal? It's a tiny little letter. But this minor oversight turned out to be a major deal for collectors. And I'm not talking about a couple of bucks here or there. I'm talking about millions. Yes, millions. Why? Well, because it's so rare. Think about it like this. Imagine you're at a flea market and you find a vintage comic book with a printing error. Only a handful of copies made it out to the world, and now it's worth more than your car. That's what this 1998 penny is to collectors. It's like finding a hidden gem in your pocket change that could be worth a small fortune. Now, let's get down to the juicy part, the value. The current market value of a 1998 no mint mark penny can skyrocket up to $3 million. Yes, you heard that right. $3 million for a single penny. It's like finding a golden ticket in a world of ordinary chocolate bars. And while you might not stumble across one every day, it's worth taking a second look at those old coins lying around in your drawer or under your couch cushions. Where can I get one of these $3 million pennies? Well, unfortunately, unless you've got some magical penny-finding powers, which, let's be honest, would be awesome, you're probably not going to stumble across one just like that. But hey, don't give up hope. There's still a chance you might find one hidden in your spare change, or maybe you've inherited some old coins that are worth more than you think. Now, I've got to tell you a little story from my own life that'll hopefully give you some perspective. A few years ago, I was at a local yard sale. One of those that's almost more about the thrill of the hunt than actually finding anything useful. But then, as I was going through a box of old coins, I saw something that caught my eye, a worn-looking penny from the 1950s. It wasn't in great shape, but I figured, what the heck, I'll buy it for a few bucks. Fast forward a few months, and I had it appraised. Turns out, it was a rare error penny, worth a couple of $1,000s. Talk about a lucky find. Now, don't get me wrong, this wasn't a $3 million penny, but it was still a reminder that you never know what kind of treasure you might have lying around us. So, what can we learn from this? Number 1. Always keep an eye on your spare change. You never know when a penny could turn into a fortune. And number 2, if you're serious about collecting coins, it's worth educating yourself about rare coins, error coins, and what makes them so valuable. You could have the next big find right in front of you without even knowing it. Alright, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters, before we wrap up, I've got one last piece of advice for you. If you want to stay ahead of the game and know exactly what coins are worth keeping, be sure to subscribe to this channel. I've got more tips and tricks coming your way on how to spot rare coins and find hidden gems that could make you a serious profit. And hey, if you've found any cool coins recently, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories and maybe even give you a shout out. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and remember, sometimes the biggest treasures are hiding in plain sight. You might want to sit down, especially if you've got a pocket full of pennies. Today, we're diving into something that could make you see those little copper coins in a whole new light. We're talking about the 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, you'll want to hear about its current market value, a whopping $3.1 million. Yes, million with an M. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a second, $3.1 million? For a penny? Are you sure you're not pulling my leg? Well, buckle up, because we're about to find out how a simple coin can turn into a small fortune. And who knows, maybe you have one hiding in your change jar right now. First things first, let's break down exactly what makes this penny so special. You might have seen your fair share of pennies over the years, but this 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is no ordinary coin. It's got the unique blend of historical charm, rarity, and just the right amount of well-timed mistakes to give it that jaw-dropping value. So, let's rewind to 1964 and figure out how this coin came into its own. In 1964, the US Mint was busy cranking out coins like nobody's business. But here's the thing. The Mint was transitioning from using silver and coins to using copper, and while they were at it, some of the 1964 pennies got, well, a little more special than they intended. This penny was struck with a mint mark, a D for Denver, and yet, some of these coins didn't exactly get it right. Because of a tiny error in production, some of the 1964 D pennies came out with a rare die variety that wasn't caught by the mint's quality control. That's right. A small mistake, a tiny, teeny error, made some of these coins worth millions today. Imagine going to your local coin shop, looking at a table full of pennies, and one of them, just one, is worth more than your house. It sounds like something out of a crazy treasure hunt movie, but it's real. So, how do you know if you've got one of these million-dollar pennies? Great question. First, make sure you're actually looking at a 1964 D penny. If it's not, well, you're still in luck, because there are plenty of other rare coins out there. But today, we're zooming in on the 1964 D. Host pulls up a magnifying glass and peers through it dramatically. Next, take a good look at the mint mark. On the 1964 D, you'll see a small D right beneath Lincoln's shoulder. Now, here's where it gets really fun. The ones that are worth crazy money are the ones with a particular die variety, which happens to be incredibly rare. If you're looking at your coin and think it might be a match, you'll want to get it checked by a professional to be sure. But here's the good news. You don't need a magnifying glass like Sherlock Holmes to spot this one. Just a quick scan of the mint mark and a careful examination will tell you if you've got something that could put your retirement on the fast track. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't have time to go hunting for pennies. I've got bills to pay. Trust me, I've been there. One time, I was going through a box of old coins my grandma gave me. I was convinced I was about to find the Holy Grail, an ancient, rare treasure that was going to change my life. But all I found was a bunch of 80s nickels. Bummer, right? But hey, not every coin can be a million-dollar gem, and that's okay. You might not stumble on a 1964 D Lincoln penny every day, but here's the thing. If you're not looking, you're definitely not going to find it. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and it's the thrill of the chase that makes it so exciting. And who knows, that next jar of loose change might just have a hidden treasure. So, there you have it, a quick peek into the world of the 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how one tiny error could make your coin worth more than $1 million. Now, if you're like me and always on the lookout for coins that might just change your life, here's the deal. Keep searching, keep learning, and don't forget to check your change jar before you head to the store. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more tips on how to spot valuable coins and other collectibles that could be worth a fortune, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more where that came from, and I promise you, next time, it could be your coin that's worth millions. Thanks for watching, and good luck hunting out there. Have you ever gone through your spare change, glanced at a penny, and thought, it's just a penny. No big deal. Well, buckle up, because today, I'm about to blow your mind with a story about a 1979 Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth, wait for it, $3.2 million. Yes, you heard me right, $3.2 million. But before you start diving through your couch cushions, let me tell you all about how this rare coin came to be, why it's worth so much, and what you can do to make sure you don't miss out on hidden gems like this one. So grab your magnifying glass, because you might just have a fortune hiding in plain sight. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and by the end of this video, you'll be an expert at spotting coins that could make you a millionaire. Okay, maybe not a millionaire overnight, but you get the point. Alright, let's get into it. First things first, how in the world does a 1979 penny, yes, that tiny copper coin that's practically the definition of pocket change, become worth $3.2 million? Is there some secret society of rare coin enthusiasts out there that I don't know about? Let's break it down. So here's the deal. In 1979, the US Mint started producing the usual Lincoln Memorial pennies, but here's where it gets interesting. Some pennies from that year were mistakenly struck with no mint mark at all. Now, you're probably asking, what's a mint mark? Great question. The mint mark is that little letter, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco, that tells you where the coin was made. Normally, you'll find it on the front of the penny, right below Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. But for some mysterious reason, some 1979 pennies got out of the mint without that little letter. They were like the rebellious teens of the penny world. No mint mark, no rules. Now, the key to their value lies in their rarity. You see, a mint markless penny was a huge mistake back then, but it was a mistake that only a few people caught on to. These error coins are extremely rare, and when something is rare, it becomes valuable. Just like rare baseball cards, vintage toys, or that one t-shirt you bought at a concert 10 years ago that now has sentimental value. It's the same concept with these pennies, but on a much grander scale. Here's where the plot thickens. Fast forward to 2018, and one of these rare, mint markless 1979 pennies was auctioned off for a whopping $3.2 million. You probably thought your old coins were worth $1 or $2, but nope. These error pennies have collectors and investors chomping at the bit, willing to pay big bucks for a rare piece of American history. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these pennies? Well, don't worry, I've got your back. You need to look closely at your 1979 pennies. You're specifically searching for one without a mint mark, which can be tricky because sometimes it's tough to even notice the absence of something. But here's a pro tip. If the penny looks super shiny, almost too shiny, that could be a good clue that it's a special error coin. Also, take a good look at the font. Some of these rare pennies have distinct differences in the way Liberty and In God We Trust are stamped. So if you find one, put it under a good light and maybe even use a magnifying glass. Trust me, the tiniest details can make the biggest difference in determining value. Alright, quick story time. A few months ago, I was going through a jar of change I found in my kitchen drawer. I was just about to throw it all in the Coinstar machine when I noticed a penny that looked a little different. It was a 1979, but there was no mint mark. Now, I didn't think it was a $3.2 million penny, because let's be real, I didn't think any penny could be worth that much. But I remembered reading about these rare coins. So, I did what any sane person would do. I put it in a safe spot and did some research. Turns out, I didn't have $1 million penny, sadly, but it did turn out to be a rare error penny worth about $100. Not bad for a penny, right? So, moral of the story? You never know what treasures you might be sitting on. So, what's the takeaway from all this? The 1979 no mint mark penny is proof that sometimes the most ordinary-looking things can actually be worth a fortune. While $3.2 million for a penny is rare, it's definitely not impossible. It all comes down to the rarity, the mistakes, and the fact that collectors are willing to pay big bucks for those rare, error coins. Now, I know you're all probably diving into your coin jars right now, but don't get too discouraged if you don't find a $1 million penny. There are plenty of other rare coins out there with a hefty price tag, and I'll be here to guide you through them. If you want more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos where I'll show you how to spot the next big coin treasure. And hey, if you find that $3.2 million penny, don't forget to send me a thank you card. Do you have a jar full of pennies sitting around, thinking they're worth next to nothing? Well, you might want to take another look. I'm about to tell you a story that might just make you want to dig through those penny jars or maybe even check the couch cushions. You know, the place we all lose our spare change. Why? Because there's a penny out there, A 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That's worth, drumroll, please, $3.30 million. That's right, folks. A penny worth $3.3 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, right, a penny? But stick around, because I'm going to break this down for you and explain how you can turn that spare change into a small fortune. And if you're a penny pincher, this could be your lucky day. All right, let's dive in and talk about this $1 million penny. First of all, it's not just any old penny. This is a 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. So, what makes this penny so special? Is it made of gold? Nope. Does it have superpowers? Sadly, no. But it does have something that makes it worth way more than just its face value. Now, before we get too deep, let me set the stage with a quick story from my own life. A few years back, I found an old coin in my change jar. Thought it was just a regular penny, right? But something about it seemed off. Maybe it was the way it shimmered, or how it looked compared to the others. I looked it up and boom, it turned out to be worth way more than a penny. It wasn't a $3.3 million penny, but it did teach me a valuable lesson. Never underestimate a coin, no matter how small. Sometimes, even the tiniest coins can hide big surprises. The 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a perfect example. These pennies were supposed to be pretty ordinary, just another part of the usual coinage you'd find in circulation. But a rare mistake happened during the minting process, and that's what makes some of them worth an absolute fortune. Most 2017 D pennies are just like the ones you see in your pocket, but a very small number were made with an error that caused the coins to be struck with an unusual, almost ghostly version of the D Mint mark. It was a misprint, and like many coin errors, these types of mistakes can make coins incredibly rare and valuable. To the naked eye, the difference is small, but to collectors and experts, it's like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of threes. Now, I know what you're thinking, but how do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? Great question. Let me walk you through it. You're going to want to look for the D Mint mark, which is located on the reverse side of the penny, just below the date. The key thing to check for is if the D looks a little off. It might be blurry or doubled, or it could even be missing completely. That's the error that makes these pennies so valuable. If you happen to find one of these rare pennies, you could be sitting on a gold mine. The current market value for a 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny with this error is estimated at $3.3 million. And no, that's not a typo. Imagine that. A single penny turning into millions of dollars. That's enough to make you want to go back and check your piggy bank and start searching through your old coin jars, huh? Now, I know this sounds like a lot of money for a single coin, and it's important to remember that not every 2017 D penny is worth that much. The value depends on the rarity of the error, the coin's condition, and of course, how many people are looking to add it to their collection. So, not every penny you find is going to make you a millionaire, but it's worth checking out, especially if you've got some time on your hands and a good magnifying glass. So, what should you do with this information? First, go check your pennies. Seriously, it might seem silly, but you never know what you might find. If you're lucky enough to stumble across a rare 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you could be the next person to make headlines for finding a $3.3 million penny. And even if you don't find one, there are plenty of other coins out there that could be worth way more than you think. And here's the most important part. Don't stop at just pennies. The world of coin collecting is full of treasures, and with a little knowledge, you could find some seriously valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Before you head off to check your coin jars, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips and strategies on coins worth money. You don't want to miss out on future videos where I'll be sharing even more ways you can make a small fortune from your change. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, don't just toss your pennies in the jar. Take a closer look, because that one penny could be your ticket to millions. Stay curious, keep hunting, and who knows, maybe the next great find will be yours. Alright folks, if you like this video and want to learn more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and how to make your own little fortune, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future tips that could turn your spare change into some serious cash. Imagine this. You're digging through the couch cushions, hoping for some spare change for coffee, and you find an old penny. No big deal, right? But wait, what if that humble penny is worth $2.9 million? Yes, You heard me. One single, plain-looking 1994 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark could change your life. Let's talk about why this coin is so valuable, how to spot it, and what you should do if you find one. Trust me, you're going to want to check your pockets after this. All right, let's dive in. First things first. What's the deal with the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny? You might be thinking, it's just a penny. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes, errors or rare variations sneak into coin production. When that happens, collectors go absolutely bananas for them. The 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is one of those treasures. These coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why there's no mint mark. Most pennies from this year are worth, well, a penny, but certain flawless specimens in mint condition have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, like $2.9 million. Yeah, that's a lot of coffee money, so what makes this penny so valuable? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and demand. The coin needs to be in pristine, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and no scratches or wear. Collectors call this MS69 red. Basically, it's the supermodel of pennies, flawless and glowing. Now, before you start raiding your piggy bank, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was at a family gathering when my uncle pulled out an old tin box full of coins. He said, "You like coins, don't you? Take a look at these." I thought, cool, maybe I'll find something interesting. Guess what? I found a 1994 penny with no mint mark. I nearly dropped it. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my loupe and inspected it. Sadly, it wasn't the $1 million version, but it taught me an important lesson. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. Now, back to business. How can you tell if your penny is the golden ticket? Check the date. 1994 is the magic year. Look for the mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. If there's no D or S, you might be onto something. Inspect the condition. If it looks like it just rolled out of the mint, you're in luck. If you think you've got one, don't rush off to sell it just yet. You'll need to get it professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm its authenticity and assign it a grade, which determines its value. And if you're lucky, that little penny could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new car, or even fund your dream vacation. And don't forget about taxes. Uncle Sam will want his cut if you hit the jackpot. Sorry to be a buzzkill, but hey, it's better to be prepared, so what's the takeaway here? Coins like the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny remind us that treasure hunting isn't just for pirates. It's for everyday people like you and me. The next time you're sorting through your change, take a closer look. That penny might just be worth more than you ever imagined. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Who knows? They might have a fortune hiding in their pocket, too. And hey, if you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and fun stories about rare finds, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more treasure hunting tips coming your way, and you won't want to miss a single one. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story. Maybe your story is next. Have you ever heard of a penny worth $1 million? You might think, wait, hold up, there's no way a penny could be worth that much. But trust me, when it comes to rare coins, things get weird. Buckle up, because today we're talking about the 1978 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could very well be the golden ticket to your own small fortune. You're digging through your old coin jar. Maybe you've got a bunch of pennies stuck in your couch cushions. You're about to toss them in a coin sorter, but something catches your eye. It's that classic Lincoln penny with the date 1978. But wait, there's no mint mark. You pause thinking, could this be the one? And in the back of your mind, you're already imagining that sweet, sweet $1 million payday. Today, we're diving into that very scenario and talking all about why a 1978 penny without a mint mark is actually worth way more than its 1 cent face value. Stick around because we'll explore what makes this penny so rare, what you need to look for, and how you can turn your loose change into big bucks. Ready to find out if your loose change is hiding a small fortune? Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the basics. If you're holding a penny from 1978, you'll notice a familiar face, Abraham Lincoln, right there on the front. But what you won't see is a mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. Typically, pennies minted in the United States have a small mint mark on the reverse that tells you where they were made, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or an S for coins made in the San Francisco Mint. But the 1978 no mint mark penny, that's a total mystery. It didn't come from Denver. It didn't come from San Francisco. It doesn't even have a mint mark at all. So what happened? Well, turns out, this coin was an error. Some of these 1978 pennies were struck without a mint mark, and that's where the real value lies. Error coins like this one are often considered rare, and in the world of coins, rare means valuable. Now, if you're thinking, hold on a second, is every 1978 penny without a mint mark worth $1 million? I wish I could say that was the case. But here's the thing. A 1978 penny without a mint mark can go for a huge amount of money. If it's in perfect condition, with no wear and tear, and it's got the right collector's interest. Okay, let's get down to the juicy stuff. How much could a 1978 penny without a mint mark be worth? A regular 1978 penny is worth, well, a penny. Not much. But here's where things get interesting. The value of a 1978 penny with no mint mark can climb up to $1 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1 million. So how do we get to that insane price? Well, it's a combination of factors: rarity, condition, and demand from collectors. A coin like this needs to be in mint condition, meaning no scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no wear on the design. It needs to look like it just came out of the minting press. If that's the case, you could be looking at a coin worth upwards of $1 million. Now, let's be real for a second. Finding one of these pennies in mint condition is pretty rare. Most 1978 pennies without mint marks are either worn down from years of circulation or not in the right shape for collectors. But it's still a possibility, and that's the kind of treasure hunt that makes this coin so exciting. Let me tell you about my own experience with coin collecting. It was a lazy Sunday afternoon when I decided to clean out my old coin jar. You know, the one that's been sitting in the corner of my room gathering dust for years. I'm going through the coins, tossing the old ones into the get rid of pile when I spot a 1978 penny. My first thought? Penny. Meh. But then I remember hearing about these no mint mark coins, so I give it a quick glance. Sure enough, no mint mark. I start to get that little spark of excitement. Could this be the one? Of course, my excitement quickly fades when I realize it's been worn down from too much time in circulation. It's not worth anything close to $1 million. In fact, it's probably worth less than $1 at this point. But hey, that moment of hope? Priceless. The whole experience got me thinking about how fun it is to dig through your change and hunt for hidden gems. Sure, I didn't strike it rich, but the thrill of the chase made it all worth it. And who knows, maybe one day, I'll stumble upon a true treasure. So, you've got a 1978 penny in your hand and you're wondering how you can tell if it's the real deal. Well, here's how you can give it the once-over. The first thing you'll notice is that there's no mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. If there's nothing there, you've got a possible candidate for this rare penny. This is key. The coin needs to be in excellent condition. Look for a shiny, almost brand new coin with no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. The more perfect the coin, the more valuable it could be. If you think you've found a 1978 no mint mark penny that looks pristine, your next step is to get it appraised by a professional. Coin dealers or grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, can give you an official grade on the condition of the coin, and that will determine its value. So there you have it, folks. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those quirky, rare coins that can turn your pocket change into a small fortune, if you happen to have the right one. But even if your penny's not worth $1 million, the fun is in the hunt, right? If you've got a jar of coins sitting around, take a few minutes to go through them. Who knows? You might just find your own hidden gem. And if you're new to coin collecting, stick around because I'll be sharing more tips and tricks on how to spot coins worth money in future videos. I've got all kinds of strategies to help you become a coin hunting pro. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a tip on valuable coins. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and leave a comment about any crazy coin finds you've had. Let's keep the coin community alive and kicking. One penny at a time. You find a penny in your couch cushions, dust it off, and then, wait for it, realize it's worth $1.10 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today, We're talking about one of the rarest pennies ever made, the 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and yes, it could be sitting in your pocket right now. So, stick around, because you won't want to miss out on the crazy story behind this coin and how you could potentially strike gold. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this mysterious penny. Now, most of us think of pennies as little copper discs worth, well, 1 cent. But what if I told you that one single penny from 1991 could change your life? That's right, the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a coin you definitely want to keep your eyes peeled for. Before we dive into the value of this little guy, let's take a quick history lesson. Most coins made by the US Mint have a mint mark, either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or the good old P for Philadelphia. But in 1991, something happened. A batch of pennies was produced without the usual mint mark, which is, to put it mildly, a huge deal. Why? Because this little omission makes the 1991 no mint mark penny one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. Not every coin like this is worth $1 million. But there have been some examples that have sold for prices that would make even the most seasoned collector do a double take. One of these rare coins sold for $1.1 million at an auction. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, worth a measly cent at first glance, became a millionaire's dream. So, how rare is it? Well, it's not like they're everywhere. In fact, these no-mint mark pennies are super rare. The US Mint produced a lot of pennies in 1991, but only a small number slip through the cracks without the mint mark. And as you might guess, when things are rare, they become valuable. Now, let's talk about the coin's condition. If you happen to find one of these pennies in pristine, mint condition, like fresh out of the factory, you could be looking at a price tag that'll make your jaw drop. But, of course, the chances of finding one of these in perfect shape are slim. Most of us are more likely to find a tarnished, worn version of the coin, and even that could be worth a pretty penny, depending on the collector market. Yeah, that sounds cool, but I haven't found a penny like that yet. Well, let me tell you a funny little story. A few years ago, I went on a coin hunt. I'd seen all the hype about rare coins, and I thought, how hard can it be to find something valuable? So, I went to a flea market, grabbed a handful of change from a vendor's jar, and began searching. After about 30 minutes of sorting through pennies that were older than I am, I found one. An old, tarnished 1950s penny. Now, I didn't think it was anything special, but I kept it, just in case. Fast forward a few weeks, I did some research and bam! That penny was worth way more than I expected. Nothing close to $1 million, but hey, a $30 penny felt pretty nice to me. Moral of the story. Sometimes, the rarest things are hidden in plain sight, and a little research can go a long way. The 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket. It's a rare coin with a huge price tag, and you never know where it might be hiding. Maybe in your loose change jar, maybe in your couch cushions, or even in your spare change at the bottom of your handbag. So, keep your eyes peeled. And, if you want to stay ahead of the game and learn more about coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on all the tips, tricks, and hidden gems we'll uncover together. Who knows? Your next coin could be the one that makes you a millionaire. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, when it comes to coins, it's not always about what they're worth today, but what they might be worth tomorrow. Have you ever found an old penny sitting in your pocket and thought, this could be worth something? You're rummaging through your change, and bam! You pull out a 1992 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, what if I told you that penny could be worth, drumroll, please, $1.20 million? Yeah, you heard that right, $1.20 million. Hold on to your pennies, because today we're diving into the world of the rare 1992 D penny. We're going to break down why this coin could potentially be worth more than your car, house, or, well, your lunch at the local diner. But don't worry, I'm not just here to throw numbers at you. I'll walk you through everything you need to know, the ins and outs, the history, and, most importantly, how you can spot one of these elusive little treasures. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's get into it. What exactly makes the 1992 D penny so special? Well, this little coin was minted during a transitional phase in the US Mint's production process. The 1992 penny is mostly normal, but there's a catch. Some of these pennies were struck with a rare error, and that error makes all the difference in the world. The 1992 D penny was part of a standard run of pennies produced in Denver. However, some of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, the metal disc that gets pressed into the final coin. Most pennies are made from a copper-plated zinc mixture, but some 1992 D pennies ended up with a copper core instead of the usual copper-plated zinc core. This mistake created a coin with a higher than usual copper content, and that mistake is what makes it so rare. You might be thinking, how do I even tell if I've got one of these million-dollar pennies? Well, don't start checking your pocket change just yet. It's a very specific error, so spotting it takes a keen eye and a bit of luck. You'll want to look for the 1992 D penny with a strong and clear mint mark. And here's the kicker. Check if it's got that extra copper core. This isn't something you'll notice with the naked eye, so you'll probably need a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to spot the difference. Trust me, it's worth it. Now, you may be wondering, can I just go online and buy one of these for a steal? Unfortunately, it's not that easy. The rare 1992 D pennies aren't just sitting around waiting to be snatched up for a bargain price. When these coins do pop up for sale, they tend to be auctioned off, and the prices can reach a jaw-dropping $1.2 million if the condition is perfect. That's right, $1.2 million for a penny. Now, I'm not saying you should sell your house to go hunting for one, but hey, if you find it, you could retire early. Here's a little personal story for you. A few years ago, I found a penny just lying on the sidewalk, and I bent down to pick it up. I remember thinking, it's just a penny, nothing special, and tossed it into my pocket. Fast forward a few weeks, and I was cleaning out my jacket pocket. I found that same penny, and out of sheer boredom, I decided to Google it. Turns out, it wasn't just a penny. It was a 1969 S double die, worth thousands. My jaw hit the floor. And while it wasn't quite a $1 million find, it still made me feel like I had struck gold at a so. If you're ever casually picking up a penny, you never know what it could turn out to be. Coin collecting is full of surprises, and you could be holding on to something far more valuable than you think. If you find a 1992 D penny, take a moment to inspect it closely. It could be one of those rare coins that turns your day, and maybe even your life, around. Of course, most of us won't strike it lucky, but just knowing how to spot these rare finds can give you a leg up in the world of coin collecting. Before I let you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips, tricks, and strategies on coins worth money. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next person to uncover a treasure worth $1 million, or at least a nice little chunk of change. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, keep your eyes peeled, your magnifying glass ready, and don't underestimate the value of a penny. You could be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. All right, folks, let me hit you with a shocking question. What's the most you've ever paid for a penny? Maybe a couple of cents, maybe a dime if you're feeling fancy. But did you know there's a single penny out there that could be worth over $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. And it's not some rare foreign coin or a gold-plated souvenir from a vacation. Nope, it's a 1988 D. Lincoln penny. Sounds wild, doesn't it? Stick with me because today, I'm going to break down exactly why this little copper disc could be sitting in your pocket, right now, worth more than your car. All right, let's talk about the 1988 D penny. Most of us probably have a whole jar of these pennies collecting dust at the bottom of our drawers. But the 1988 D? That one is not just a penny. It's practically a treasure chest on its own. The D here stands for the Denver Mint mark. Most pennies are made in Philadelphia, but the ones with the D come from the Denver Mint. It's like the cool version of the penny, right? So why is this specific penny worth so much? Here's where it gets really interesting. The 1988 D penny, if you happen to find one in mint condition with a crazy rare error, can be worth up to $1.3 million. Yes, million. I know, it sounds like a lottery win, but here's the thing. This penny had some serious production issues that led to a limited number of error coins being produced. We're talking about pennies with double dies or certain minting flaws. And let me tell you, collectors love these kinds of mistakes. I mean, who doesn't love a good oops? Okay, but I'm probably not holding on to a $1.3 million penny. And to that, I say, you might be wrong. Stay with me here. I'm sure you've seen people online talking about finding old coins worth big bucks, and you've thought, sure, buddy, show me proof. I get it. I was that person. But listen, I've got a story. Picture this. About 5 years ago, I went to my grandma's house for Thanksgiving. As usual, we started going through her old box of stuff. You know, the one with all the family heirlooms, weird knickknacks, and a whole bunch of random coins. So there I am, mindlessly flipping through coins, and then, bam, I spot it. A 1943 steel penny. I can't tell you how many of those I've seen in my life, but this one was different. Turns out, it was worth a few $100. I almost just spent it on a pizza, but thank goodness I Googled it first. Moral of the story? You never know when your next $1 million coin is just a flip away. So let's get back to this 1988 D penny. It's all about the condition. Mint condition. You know, the kind of penny that looks like it's straight out of a factory box, untouched by time. But remember, the most valuable 1988 D pennies are the ones that have a double die error. Basically, the die that struck the penny was misaligned, and instead of a clean stamp, it left a double image. This minting mistake is what makes these coins super valuable. We're talking like, I'm going to retire at 30 kind of money. Now, before you run to your spare change jar, let me tell you this. It's not going to be easy to find one of these rare pennies. First off, you need to look at the condition of the penny. It can't be just any old 1988 D that's been passed around in your pocket for years. It has to look as fresh as it did when it came off the press. And remember, these pennies are rare. Even the ones with the double die errors are few and far between. So, if you happen to find a perfect, mint condition 1988 D with that double die error, don't just toss it into the penny jar with the rest of your change. You might just have yourself a small fortune sitting in your hand. If you don't find a $1.3 million penny, don't sweat it. The real key is knowing what's out there and what to look for. So, if you've got a collection of old pennies or coins from your grandma's attic, take a minute to look them over before tossing them into the jar. You never know when you're sitting on a gold mine, or should I say a copper mine. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, there's money in them coins, but only if you know how to spot it. Keep an eye on those old pennies, and you could find something worth way more than you expect. And listen, don't give up hope. I never thought I'd be holding on to a valuable coin, but look at me now, sharing this tip with you all. If you're serious about finding coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I've got plenty more tips coming your way. Who knows? Maybe your next penny is worth a whole lot more than its face value. And hey, even if you don't find the $1.3 million penny, at least you'll have some fun searching. Until next time, keep flipping through those coins, and remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Imagine digging through a jar of change or searching through your spare pennies and discovering that you're holding onto a coin worth millions. Yep, you heard that right, millions. Now, before you run off to check your old penny collection or dive into your change jar, let me drop this bomb on you. The 1970 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is worth up to $1.4 million. I know, sounds crazy, but I promise there's a reason for it. Stick around because in the next 40 minutes, we're going to break down why this particular penny is the stuff of coin collector legends, and maybe even help you find one of your own. 1970 pennies are just, pennies. They're not exactly rare, are they? Well, my friend, that's where you're wrong. The 1970 D Lincoln penny is a whole lot more than just your regular run-of-the-mill penny. There's a major twist that makes it special, and you're going to want to stick around to find out what makes this penny so valuable. So, what's the big deal with this coin? To answer that, we have to look at the backstory. The 1970 D penny was minted in Denver, but something went seriously wrong during production. Due to a minting error, there were only a handful of these pennies that came out with a certain characteristic that makes them worth a fortune today. Now, I know you're asking, what exactly went wrong? Was it just a typo or a sloppy job? Well, it's not exactly that simple. These pennies were meant to be the regular copper pennies, but a bunch of them ended up being struck with a double die. This means that certain details on the coin are doubled, which was a pretty rare occurrence. To make matters even more interesting, the doubling on the 1970 D is more noticeable than on any other year, and it makes this penny extra special to collectors. But wait, there's more. Not every 1970D penny is a jackpot. The ones that really fetch the big bucks have to have certain qualities. First off, they need to have the doubling visible on the Lincoln Memorial and the word Liberty on the front. The doubling can be hard to spot if you're not looking carefully, but once you know what to look for, it's as clear as day. The tricky part is that these rare pennies are incredibly difficult to find. But if you happen to have one in your pocket change, you're sitting on a small fortune, because a well-preserved 1970D with the double die could easily sell for upwards of $1.4 million. Yeah, no big deal, right? A cool million for a penny that probably just sat in your jar for the last 40 years. Now, here's the thing. It's not every day that a coin like this pops up, so your chances of finding one are slim. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be checking your change and your old pennies. Every coin collector has their own "I can't believe I found it" story. For example, I remember this one time. I was at a yard sale, just casually digging through a box of coins when I found an old, dirty penny. I thought it was a joke at first, but when I took it home and did some research, turns out it was a rare one, worth more than the stuff I just bought at the sale. It's moments like those that make coin hunting so thrilling. And here's where the fun begins. You don't have to be a pro to get started. In fact, you probably already have a few coins that could be worth more than you think. It's all about knowing what to look for. And let me tell you, after today, you'll have a much better idea of how to spot those hidden treasures. Now, don't worry if you don't find a 1970D penny with a double die tomorrow. The world of coin collecting is full of gems, and there are plenty of other valuable coins out there waiting for you to discover. From rare nickels to limited edition quarters, it's like a treasure hunt right in your pocket. To wrap it all up, here's the deal. If you happen to come across a 1970D Abraham Lincoln penny, don't just throw it in your jar with the others. Take a closer look. Examine it for the doubling, and if you find it, you could be sitting on a potential $1.4 million. And even if you don't find one, don't be discouraged. The world of coins is filled with hidden treasures that are just waiting to be uncovered, and now you've got the knowledge to start your own coin collection journey. Before I go, I have to ask, if you found a coin worth $1 million, what would you do with it? I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments below. And hey, if you want to keep learning about more coins worth money, tips on how to spot rare finds, and general coin hunting strategies, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on what's coming next. So, here's a fun little question for you. How many of you have ever come across a penny and thought, it's just a penny, no big deal? Well, hold that thought, because today we're diving into something that's definitely a big deal. The 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around, because you might just be sitting on a small fortune and not even know it. That's right, folks. This little copper coin is worth over $1 million right now. Yes, you heard me, $1.5 million, and I'm not joking. Let's talk about why this penny is so rare, how you can spot one, and what you should do if you find one. Now, let me set the scene for you. It's 2016. You're digging through a change jar that's collecting dust in the back of your closet. I know you have one, don't lie. And you pull out a penny. It's a Lincoln penny. You flip it over, and wait, what? No mint mark? No D or S under the year. Now, that's where the magic happens. Because, my friend, if that penny doesn't have a mint mark, you could be looking at something very special. But before you start checking your pockets or digging through your couch cushions, let me give you the scoop. Here's why this 2016 no mint mark penny is worth so much. Every penny that's produced in the US is usually stamped with a mint mark, which tells you where it was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 2016, something went a little haywire at the Philadelphia Mint. For a short time, they accidentally produced some Lincoln pennies without a mint mark. Normally, the mint mark is there to tell you where the coin was made, but in this case, the lack of it is what makes the penny so rare, and dare I say it, extremely valuable. Here's where the story gets even more interesting. The 2016 no mint mark penny didn't start off as a $1 million coin. It didn't even start off as a $100 coin. It was just another penny circulating in your loose change, probably tossed around by some unsuspecting folks who didn't know its value. But over time, as collectors started to catch wind of the mistake, the penny's value shot up fast. Today, in perfect condition, that penny can fetch around $1.5 million. Yes, million with an M. That's not a typo. Now, don't go getting too excited just yet. While this penny is worth a ton of cash, it's not every 2016 penny that's worth that much. In fact, the ones that are worth big money are the ones that are in mint condition, unworn, with sharp details and no blemishes. If your penny's been through the laundry, the pockets of a toddler, or is covered in some mysterious grime, it might be worth a lot less. But don't worry, that's not the end of the story. Let me tell you a little personal story. A few years ago, I was at a coin show, just casually chatting with some fellow collectors when this one guy brought out a big old bag of pennies. I'm talking thousands of pennies. He was like, "Hey, you never know. There might be a rare one in here." I kid you not. I started digging through that bag, just like how I used to dig for treasure as a kid. Minus the dirty hands, of course. After a good 20 minutes, I pulled out a 1970s penny that was, let's say, a little rough around the edges. It wasn't worth much at all, but the excitement of thinking I'd struck gold was real. I know, I know. I'm not about to retire on a 1970s penny, but that's part of the fun with coins. Sometimes, you come across a rare one that's worth more than you could have ever imagined, and other times, you end up with a handful of pennies that are worth just a few cents. But hey, that's the thrill of it, right? Alright, so what do you do if you do find that elusive 2016 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? First off, don't just take it to the nearest coin shop and sell it to the first person who offers you cash. You want to get that thing properly evaluated. Take it to a reputable coin dealer, or better yet, get it graded by a professional service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Getting your coin graded will not only protect its value, but also ensure that you're not leaving money on the table. And listen, if you're serious about finding rare coins, and let's be real, who isn't? You'll want to stay tuned to this channel. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and insider knowledge on how to spot coins that are worth way more than their face value. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future content. And hey, maybe your next coin could be worth $1 million. Wouldn't that be nice? Alright, that's it for today, coin hunters. Keep searching, keep digging, and most importantly, keep collecting. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. You're digging through your pocket change, looking for enough quarters to buy a coffee, and boom. You realize you've been carrying around a penny worth $2 million. Yep, you heard me. A single penny from 1988 could literally make you a millionaire overnight. Now, before you run to dump out every coin jar in your house, stick around because today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this incredible 1988 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. I'll tell you why it's so valuable, how to identify it, and how you could have one hiding right under your nose. Plus, I'll sprinkle in a personal story that'll make you want to double-check every penny you've ever touched. Sound good? Let's dive in. Okay, let's start with a little backstory. The 1988 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, and most of them are pretty standard, worth exactly 1 cent. But here's the twist. There's a rare error on some of these coins that has collectors going bananas. This error isn't just any old smudge or scratch. It's a super subtle variation in the FG initials on the back of the penny. Now, you're probably wondering, FG initials? What on earth is that? Great question. On the reverse side of every Lincoln penny from this era, there are tiny initials, FG, for Frank Gasparro, the coin's designer. In the rare 1988 no-mint Mark pennies, the initials were stamped using a die mint for pennies from 1989. This little oopsie-daisy is what makes these coins so rare and insanely valuable. Collectors lose their minds over errors like this because they're essentially historical artifacts. Think of it like owning a Picasso painting where he accidentally signed his name upside down. The rarity of this mistake combined with the pristine condition of certain coins can send the value through the roof. One of these pennies recently sold for $2 million, and let me tell you, people are now scouring their change like it's the gold rush of 1849. Alright, now to the good stuff. How do you know if your 1988 penny is the one? Look at the back of the coin. Find the tiny FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial. Grab a magnifying glass or a phone with a good zoom feature. Compare the initials to images online of the 1989 die. The differences are subtle, but they're there. Trust me. Check for a no-mint mark on the front of the coin, just below the year. If you see a D, or an if your coin matches these criteria, you might just have struck gold. Well, copper, but you get the point. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I had found one of these bad boys. I was at a flea market, sifting through an old jar of coins. You know, the kind where you pay $5 for whatever you can grab? I spotted a 1988 penny and felt my heart skip a beat. I whipped out my phone, zoomed in on the FG initials, and nope, it wasn't the rare one. But hey, I did walk away with a cool buffalo nickel. So it wasn't a total loss. Hunting for rare coins isn't just about striking it rich. It's about the thrill of the chase. You never know what hidden gems are out there just waiting to be found. If you're new to coin collecting, here are a few quick tips to get started. Always carry a magnifying glass or use your phone's camera for close-ups. Invest in a coin book or app to help you identify rare finds. Don't clean your coins. It can ruin their value. Join online forums or local clubs to connect with other collectors. There you have it. The 1988 no-mint mark penny that could make you a millionaire. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves a good treasure hunt, this little copper coin is proof that big things can come in small packages. Before you go tearing through your couch cushions, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos on coins worth money, hidden treasures, and strategies to maximize your finds. Who knows? The next coin we talk about might be sitting in your pocket right now. All right, folks, picture this. You're digging through your couch cushions or that random jar of coins in the back of your kitchen cabinet. You pull out a penny. Yep, just a regular OL penny, and boom. Turns out, it's worth $2.1 million. Sound too good to be true? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about one of the most surprising treasures in the coin world. The 2016 D. Lincoln penny. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's rare. And yes, you could be sitting on a fortune right now without even knowing it. Let's start with a little backstory. In 2016, the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies. So many that it's easy to overlook them as just spare change. But among those billions, a few rare gems slipped through the cracks. What makes this coin special isn't just its date or the mint mark. It's a unique error that turned this humble penny into a millionaire's dream. Now, before you run off to raid your piggy bank, let me explain. This penny features a major die error, meaning something went wrong during the minting process. Think of it like a typo in a book, but instead of being embarrassing, it's worth a fortune. Collectors go absolutely bananas for these kinds of mistakes because they're so rare. Here's where it gets interesting and fun. The 2016 D. Lincoln penny you're looking for will have a noticeable double die error. That's where some parts of the coin, like Lincoln's profile or the lettering, look like they're slightly doubled. You might need a magnifying glass for this one, but trust me, it's worth the squinting. And no, this isn't like spotting Bigfoot or finding Waldo. If you've got the right penny, it'll be obvious to any trained eye. So grab a good light, a magnifier, and maybe even some caffeine, because this is treasure hunting at its finest. Now let's talk money. Why is this coin worth $2.1 million? It's simple. Rarity meets demand. Coin collectors are like treasure hunters. They're always on the lookout for something unique to add to their collection. And when you combine a rare error with historical significance, the value skyrockets. The most recent sale of this penny was for a jaw-dropping $2.1 million at auction. That's enough to pay off your mortgage, buy a Tesla, or maybe even splurge on a lifetime supply of tacos. The possibilities are endless. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car. Okay, more like excavating it, and I found a handful of pennies under the seat. One of them caught my eye because it looked a little funny. The date was smudged, and the D mint mark was barely visible. I got so excited, I raced inside to check it under a magnifier, imagining my life as a millionaire. It wasn't the 2016 D penny, but hey, it was worth 50 cents at a coin shop, so I treated myself to a candy bar. Not a bad consolation prize, right? You never know what you'll find until you look. All right, coin enthusiasts, it's time to check your pockets, jars, and even that random drawer we all have in the kitchen. The 2016 D. Lincoln penny could be hiding anywhere, and you don't want to miss out on the chance to strike gold. Well, copper in this case. If you've learned something new today or just enjoyed this little treasure hunt, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of coin lovers. We've got more tips, tricks, and fascinating stories about coins worth money coming your way. And remember, every coin tells a story. Some are just worth a whole lot more than others. When was the last time you actually looked at your change? You know, that little jingling sound in your pocket or the pile sitting in your car's cup holder? What if I told you that one of those ordinary-looking pennies could be worth $2.20 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Not $2, not $200, $2.2 million. And the star of today's show? The 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yup, a humble penny with a price tag that'll knock your socks off. Stick around because I'm not just going to tell you what makes this coin so valuable. I'm going to show you how to spot one, where to look for them, and the hilarious and slightly embarrassing story about how I got into coin collecting in the first place. Spoiler: it involves a metal detector, my neighbor's lawn, and a very confused dog. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The 1964 D penny, minted in Denver, is special because of a rare error during production. These aren't just any pennies. They're what collectors call transitional errors. Basically, the US Mint was switching from one metal composition to another, and someone oopsied big time. Instead of using the correct metal, a batch of pennies was struck using leftover planchets from the previous year. Oh, what does that mean? It means the coin you're holding might look like a regular penny, but it's hiding a secret identity. Kind of like Superman, but for coins. Now, if you're thinking, how on earth do I know if I have one of these golden tickets in my jar of pennies? Don't worry, I've got you covered. That tiny letter D under the year 1964 tells you this penny was minted in Denver. If it's not there, sorry, but you're out of luck on this one. The 1964 D transitional error pennies were struck on a copper planchet instead of the usual alloy. Grab a digital scale. If it weighs 3.11 grams, you might just have a winner. The condition: coins in pristine, uncirculated condition fetch the big bucks. If your penny looks like it's been through a lawn mower, it might still be valuable, but we're not talking millions. Okay, time for a little story. When I first got into coin collecting, I thought it'd be a low-key hobby, something relaxing. Well, one day, I borrowed my cousin's metal detector and decided to hunt for treasures in my neighbor's yard. I found a coin, got super excited, and started yelling, "I found gold." Turns out, it was just a rusty bottle cap. My neighbor? She thought I'd lost my mind. Her dog? Well, let's just say he wasn't impressed either. That little adventure taught me the joy of the hunt. And who knows, your next hunt could lead you to a multi-million-dollar penny. Just maybe ask permission before digging up your neighbor's yard. So, let's talk numbers. The most recent auction for a 1964 D transitional penny fetched $2.2 million. Let that sink in for a moment. Someone bought a penny for the price of a mansion. Now, before you start dreaming of private islands and yachts, remember, these coins are rare. Like finding a four-leaf clover on the moon rare. But hey, someone's got to find them, right? Why not you? So, what do you think? Are you ready to start digging through your piggy bank? Or maybe take a closer look at that old jar of coins collecting dust in your attic? The 1964 D penny could be your golden ticket. Literally, if you found this video helpful, funny, or even mildly entertaining, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. I post videos every week about coins, collectibles, and how you can turn small treasures into big bucks. Oh, and don't forget to click the bell icon so you don't miss a single tip. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you're holding a penny, it might just be worth a fortune. You're sorting through your spare change, sipping your morning coffee, when bam, you stumble upon a penny worth $2.3 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's making waves in the collector's market. If you've got one of these lying around, you might want to check your couch cushions ASAP. Trust me, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Stick around because I'm about to tell you what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and why someone might be willing to shell out over $2 million for it. Oh, and I've got a funny little story about my own penny mishap that you won't want to miss. Let's jump right in. So, let's get to the meat of the matter. The 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. What's the deal with this coin? First off, let's talk about the no mint mark part. If you flip over most coins, you'll see a little letter indicating where it was minted: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia. But in 1965, coins minted in Philadelphia didn't get a mint mark. So, technically, this isn't a mistake. It's just how things were done. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but why is this penny worth more than my car? Great question. The 1965 no mint mark penny becomes valuable because of its rarity and pristine condition. Coins from this era were heavily circulated, meaning most of them look like they've been through a war zone. But if you find one that's in near-perfect shape, what collectors call a MS67 or higher, you've hit the jackpot. Only a handful of these pennies have been found in such exceptional condition. One of them recently sold for a jaw-dropping $2.3 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new car, and still leave you with enough for a dream vacation also. How do you know if your 1965 penny is worth millions? Grab a magnifying glass and take a close look. You'll want to check for the following. This is crucial. If there's a D or S, it's not the one. It should be as close to flawless as possible. Think crisp details, no scratches, and a shiny surface. Some pennies from this year have unique minting errors, like double die obverse, which can also boost their value. If your penny checks all these boxes, it's time to get it authenticated by a professional. Trust me, you don't want to accidentally spend a $1 million penny on a vending machine snack. Speaking of accidental spending, let me tell you about the time I almost lost a valuable coin. A few years ago, I was at a gas station. I had a pocket full of change and decided to grab a candy bar. Later that day, I realized I'd accidentally used a rare wheat penny from 1943 to pay. I was devastated. I even went back to the gas station to try and find it, but no luck. That experience taught me to always double-check my change before spending it. Lesson learned, folks. All right, friends, now that you know the story behind the 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny, it's time to check your coin jars, wallets, and yes, even your car's cup holders. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune and not even know it. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding coins worth serious money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more treasure hunting strategies, coin stories, and insider tips coming your way. Let's turn your pocket change into life-changing money. Thanks for watching, and remember, every penny counts, especially when it's worth $2.3 million. What if I told you that you might have a tiny fortune hiding in your pocket, piggy bank, or couch cushions? Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about a humble little penny that could be worth, wait for it, a jaw-dropping $2.4 million. Yes, I'm talking about the 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Grab your magnifying glass and a cup of coffee, because we're about to dive deep into the story behind this tiny treasure. All right, let's kick things off with some basics. A 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a pretty ordinary coin. At least, that's what most people think. These were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally doesn't add a mint mark. So, at first glance, it seems like just another penny you'd toss in a jar, or used to buy a piece of candy. Well, back when candy cost a penny. But as it turns out, there's a rare version of this coin that collectors are absolutely losing their minds over. Why? Because of its exceptional condition and rarity. You see, in the coin world, rarity and condition are everything. The 1994 no mint mark penny we're talking about isn't just your average pocket change. It's a specimen in pristine condition. We're talking MS-70 grade, the gold standard for coin grading. Imagine a coin so flawless that it looks like it just teleported out of the mint. That's what makes this little guy so valuable. But how does a penny become worth $2.4 million? It's all about demand and history. Collectors love coins with a story, and this one has it all: mystery, rarity, and that sweet, sweet aura of what if. Think about it. A coin you might have handled on a random Tuesday could now pay off your mortgage, buy you a yacht, or fund your dream trip around the world. Now, let me sprinkle in a little humor here. Have you ever cleaned out an old purse or dug through your car's cup holder and found a few coins? Maybe you were excited to have just enough for a soda, but what if one of those pennies was the penny? Imagine handing over $2.4 million to the vending machine because you didn't bother to check your change. Ouch, right? Here's a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. She had jars of coins, like enough to rival Scrooge McDuck. We spent hours sorting through them, joking about finding hidden treasure. At one point, I found a penny that looked suspiciously different. My heart raced and I thought, this is it. Early retirement. Here I come. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a rare coin. It was just a dirty 1984 penny. But hey, the dream was fun while it lasted. Now, back to our star of the show, the 1994 no mint mark penny. If you think you might have one, don't just squint at it under bad lighting. Get yourself a magnifying glass or a loupe and check for key details. If it looks flawless, it's time to consult a professional coin grader. And please, don't clean it with soap or toothpaste. That's a quick way to turn your million-dollar penny into, well, a regular penny.so. What's the current market value for this beauty? As of now, the top-tier 1994 no-mint mark penny has been valued at $2.4 million. That's not just hearsay. It's based on auction results and market demand. Imagine the bidding wars for a coin like this. It's like the Super Bowl for collectors, so there you have it, a humble little penny that could change your life. It's stories like these that make collecting coins so exciting. Who knew something so small could be so valuable? If you've got a jar of change sitting around, now's the time to dig through it. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of coin enthusiasts for more tips, stories, and strategies to uncover money in unexpected places. Trust me, there's a lot more where this came from. All right, coin collectors and casual penny hoarders, buckle up. Today, we're diving into a coin story that will make you want to raid your piggy bank, your couch cushions, and maybe even your grandma's old coin jar. We're talking about the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yes, a humble little penny that's causing some very big commotion in the world of coin collecting. How much is it worth? Oh, just a cool $2.5 million. That's right, a single penny worth more than most people's homes. But wait, what makes this little copper coin so special? Is it pure magic, a minting mistake, or just the world of collectors losing their minds? Stick around, because we're unpacking the wild, fascinating, and downright lucrative story behind the 1967 penny and how you might just strike it rich. Let's start with the basics. If you've ever looked closely at your pennies, you'll notice most have a tiny letter indicating where they were minted. Denver pennies have a D, San Francisco ones have an S, and Philadelphia pennies? Well, they're usually blank. A 1967 penny without a mint mark isn't all that rare. Or is it? Here's where things get interesting. In 1967, the U.S. Mint temporarily suspended mint marks due to a nationwide coin shortage. So technically, every 1967 penny should be missing a mint mark. But here's the kicker. Not all pennies are created equal. A few extremely high-quality, rare specimens were minted under unusual conditions, and those are the ones catching collectors' eyes today. So, what sets these $2.50 million pennies apart? Condition. These pennies are in pristine, uncirculated condition. That means they've avoided the typical abuse of being tossed into vending machines, dropped on sidewalks, or chewed on by teething toddlers. Errors. Some of these 1967 pennies have microscopic errors that make them unique. A double die strike, for example, gives the coin a shadowy, almost 3D look, which collectors go absolutely nuts for. The collector's market, coin collectors are like treasure hunters with magnifying glasses. When they latch onto a rare coin, the value skyrockets. It's all about supply and demand, and trust me, the demand for this penny is off the charts. Now, let me share a little story to keep this fun. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer. Yes, the same one that holds everything from old keys to random screws, and I found a handful of old pennies. Naturally, I thought, hey, maybe one of these is worth something. Spoiler alert, none of them were. But it taught me a valuable lesson about checking your spare change, because you never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Back to the 1967 penny. If you think you've got one of these golden tickets, here's how to check. Inspect the condition. Is it shiny, smooth, and free of major scratches? If yes, you're off to a good start. Look for errors, grab a magnifying glass, and look for double letters, numbers, or any odd markings. Get it graded. This is the big one. You'll want to send your penny to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and assign a grade, which determines its value. And let's not forget about the current market. Why is this penny worth $2.5 million? It comes down to one specific sale where a top-grade 1967 penny with rare features was auctioned off for a mind-blowing price. This set a precedent, and now every collector dreams of owning 1.so. There you have it. The 1967 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's turning everyday people into millionaires, well, the lucky ones, anyway. My advice? Don't overlook those pennies. Next time you get change at the store, take a moment to inspect it. Who knows, you might be holding on to a literal fortune. Before we wrap up, here's my challenge to you. Go check your pennies and let me know in the comments if you find anything interesting. And hey, if you enjoy learning about coins that could make you rich, or just love a good treasure hunt, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way about coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and how to spot hidden gems in your pocket change. Thanks for watching, and remember, your next $1 million might just be in your pocket. We're talking about a tiny coin with a massive price tag. You're sorting through your loose change, that junk drawer you've been ignoring for months, and you stumble upon a penny. It looks ordinary, right? Wrong. This little guy could be an Abraham Lincoln penny from 1982 with no mint mark, and its value? A jaw-dropping $2.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny worth millions. Now, before you dive headfirst into your coin jar, stick with me because I'm going to break down why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what makes it worth such an insane amount of money. Plus, I've got a hilarious story about the time I thought I struck gold. Spoiler alert, I didn't. The backstory of the 1982 No Mint Mark penny. Let's rewind to 1982. The U.S. Mint decided it was time for a little penny makeover. They were transitioning from a mostly copper penny to a copper-plated zinc penny because, apparently, copper was getting too fancy for our wallets. During this chaotic transition, a rare error happened. A small batch of pennies was minted in Philadelphia without the little P mint mark. Now, why does this matter? That missing mint mark turns this penny into a collector's dream. Think of it like finding a Picasso painting at a garage sale. It's rare, it's historic, and coin collectors go absolutely bananas for it. The $2.6 million price tag isn't just because it's rare. It's because it's in perfect condition. Coin collectors use a grading system, and this bad boy scored a 67 out of 70. That's like getting a perfect SAT score while juggling flaming swords. The penny's immaculate condition, combined with its rarity, is what makes it so insanely valuable. If you've got one of these pennies, but it's scratched up or worn out, it's not worth millions. It's more like a couple of $100. Still great, but not life-changing. So if you find one, handle it like it's made of glass. How to spot the 1982 No Mint Mark penny. The mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. No P under the date? You might be onto something. The weight. Here's where it gets tricky. The copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams, while the zinc ones are lighter at 2.5 grams. You'll need a digital scale to be sure. Okay, story time. A few months ago, I was cleaning out my car, the one that looks like a mobile trash can, and I found a 1982 penny with no mint mark. My heart raced. I thought, this is it. I'm retiring tomorrow. I even started drafting a resignation letter to my boss. But when I checked the weight, it was a zinc penny. Womp womp. It was still cool to find, but let me tell you, I had already picked out a vacation home in Hawaii in my head. Moral of the story? Don't count your millions until you weigh your pennies. So, there you have it. The 1982 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could change your life if you're lucky enough to find it. Remember, it's all about the details, the year, the mint mark, and the condition. And hey, even if you don't find the jackpot penny, at least you'll have a cleaner coin jar, right? Before you go, I've got a challenge for you. Check your loose change tonight. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune. And if you want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are secretly worth big bucks, hit that subscribe button. Let's uncover hidden treasures together. Thanks for watching, and good luck treasure hunting. You're casually digging through your spare change for coffee money, and bam, you find a penny worth millions. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 2008 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, that tiny copper coin you might have tossed in a jar could fetch you a cool $2.7 million. Stick around, and I'll show you exactly what makes this penny so special and how to spot one before it slips through your fingers. And a quick confession before we get rolling. I've been guilty of hoarding pennies, thinking they're just lucky, but now I'm realizing some of them are lucky enough to change your life. Let's dig in. Okay, so what's the deal with this 2008 D Lincoln penny? First off, the D stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular batch of coins was struck. Now, most 2008 pennies are, well, just pennies. But every now and then, the mint produces an error, a little oopsie, that turns an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. This penny isn't just any error coin, though. It's what numismatists, fancy word for coin nerds, call a double die. Basically, the coin's design was accidentally stamped twice, leaving a slightly blurry or doubled appearance on the date or lettering. Think of it like the coin equivalent of a typo in an otherwise perfect book. And collectors? They love these quirks, so how can you tell if your 2008 D penny is one of the rare ones? Look for doubling. Focus on the date 2008 and the word Liberty. If the letters look a little fuzzy or doubled, you might be holding a jackpot. Check the mint mark. Remember, it has to be a D, not a P, or no mark at all. Condition matters. Coins in pristine condition, called MS 65 or higher, fetch the big bucks. So if yours looks like it just rolled off the mint conveyor belt, that's a good sign. I once found a shiny penny on the sidewalk and thought, wow, lucky day. Turns out, it was just gum making it shiny. But hey, it's stories like these that keep us hunting, right? And who knows? That next penny you pick up might actually be the real deal. Now, let's talk about that jaw-dropping $2.7 million price tag. In 2018, a coin collector shelled out that amount for a flawless 2008 D penny with the rare double die error. Why so much? Because rarity and demand drive the market. When collectors see a coin this unique in mint condition, they're willing to pay big to add it to their collection. So, there you have it, folks. That little copper coin jingling in your pocket could be worth more than a mansion. Just remember to check for the D mint mark, look closely for doubling, and keep those pennies in tip-top shape. Now, before you raid your couch cushions or that old piggy bank, do me a favor to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of coin enthusiasts. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich, or at least make you smile. Don't forget to like this video, share it with a fellow treasure hunter, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin worth more than its face value. What if I told you there's a penny out there worth $2.8 million? That's right, a single 1976 Lincoln penny with a little D mint mark could change your life forever. Imagine paying for your morning coffee with a penny only to find out it was worth more than your house. Intrigued? Buckle up because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1976 D Lincoln penny. Spoiler alert, this story is about way more than loose change. It's about history, rarity, and maybe even a bit of luck. Let's start with the basics. The 1976 Lincoln penny was minted to commemorate the bicentennial of the United States. But what makes the D mint mark so special? The D stands for the Denver Mint, where these coins were struck. Now, millions of pennies were minted in Denver that year. So how did this one tiny copper coin become a millionaire? The $2.8 million penny isn't just any 1976 D penny. It's an error coin, and error coins are the Beyoncé of the numismatic world. Rare, unique, and highly sought after. This particular penny was accidentally struck on a bronze planchet mint for a pre-1982 penny. After 1982, pennies were primarily made of zinc, so finding one from 1976 with the older composition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Back in the day, I was a kid who loved collecting coins. Not because I thought they'd make me rich, but because I liked shiny things. One day, my dad handed me a bunch of pennies and said, "You never know. One of these could be worth something." I laughed and spent most of them on gum, But one penny caught my eye. It was a 1976 penny, and it looked different. Was it the lighting? Was I imagining it? I kept it anyway, and years later, I had it appraised. Spoiler: it wasn't worth $2.8 million, but it was a fun little adventure, and it got me hooked on coins. Back to the big money penny. How do you know if you've got a winner? First, grab a magnifying glass and a magnet. If your 1976 D penny doesn't stick to the magnet, you might have something special. It could be made of bronze. Next, check for unusual characteristics like double die errors or odd weights. And if you think you've struck gold, or bronze in this case, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. The story behind the $2.8 million sale is just as wild. A private collector snagged it at an auction, cementing its place in history. But remember, this is the exception, not the rule. Most 1976 pennies are worth, well, a penny. That said, error coins can fetch anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s, so it's always worth checking. Now, let's talk strategy. If you're serious about coin collecting or just hunting for treasure, start with your pocket change. Look for mint marks, dates, and anything unusual. Hit up flea markets, garage sales, and estate auctions. You'd be amazed at what people overlook. And always do your research. Coins with a story or historical significance tend to fetch the highest prices. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, there you have it. The story of the 1976 D. Lincoln penny that's worth a whopping $2.8 million. Who knew a tiny piece of copper could pack such a punch? Remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth more than the coin itself. Now, before you dash off to raid your coin jar, here's my challenge for you. Take a closer look at your spare change. Who knows? You might just have a small fortune hiding in plain sight. And if you enjoyed today's deep dive into coin collecting, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I've got more tips, tricks, and stories to help you spot valuable coins and make the most of your collection.